Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by for Li Auto's third quarter 2022 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Janet Zhang, Investor Relations of Li Auto. Please go ahead, Janet.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Li Auto's third quarter 2022 earnings conference call. The company's financial and operating results were published in the press release earlier today and are posted on the company's IR website. On today's call, we have our President, Mr. Kevin Yanan Shen, and our CFO, Mr. Johnny Tie Li, to begin with prepared remarks. Our founder and CEO, Mr. Xiang Li, together with our senior management, Mr. Donghui Ma and Mr. Yan Xie, will join for the Q&A discussion. Before we continue, please be reminded that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the safe harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding risks and uncertainties is included in certain filings of the company with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. Please also note that Li Auto's earnings press release and this conference call include discussions of unaudited GAAP financial information as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to Li Auto's disclosure documents on the IR section of our website, which contain a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to comparable GAAP measures. With that, I will now turn the call over to our president. Please go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you, Janet. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our call today. I will review our third quarter key highlights. In the third quarter, we navigated our model succession and launch cycle, as well as the challenging macro environment and supply chain constraint. Against this backdrop, we delivered 26,524 vehicles, up 5.6% year-over-year. Despite a supply chain bottleneck, we delivered over 10,000 Li L9s in September, the model's first full month of production. This marked the first time that a Chinese branded premium model priced over RMB 400,000 achieved monthly sales of more than 10,000 vehicles, demonstrating Li L9 as the top pick among full-size SUVs for family users. This success was due to the exceptional strength of our team, their outstanding management of the Li L9 ramp-up process, and their skillful collaboration with our supply chain partners. As Li L9 continues to surpass user expectation with class-leading features in drivability, safety, interior space, passenger experience, and smartness, demand remains robust, providing constantly strong order inflow for the model. Li L9 has been the sales champion among full-size SUVs in China since its deliveries started. Benefiting from Li L9 strength, our total delivery in October reached 10,052, representing a 31.4% year-over-year increase. This followed by a record-breaking 15,034 vehicle deliveries in November. As always, we would like to extend sincere gratitude to our over 200,000 Li One users. We will continue to adhere to higher than industry service standards and continue to improve the performance of Li One through OTAs. On September 30th, we launched Li L8, a 6-seat premium family SUV that succeeded Li One. We also unveiled Li L7, a 7-seat flagship family SUV, on the same day. We commenced the deliveries of Li L8 in November, let me provide more details of this vehicle. Li L8 employs our new generation all-wheel drive range extension system and boasts over 100 features in their standard configurations. It's available in two trims, Pro and Max, providing users with flexible choices of smartness. The two trims are harnessed respectively with Li AD Pro and the Li AD Max autonomous driving systems. Pro is powered by the Horizon Robotics Journey 5 chip with 128 TOPS of computing power, while Max is powered by the dual Orin X chips with 508 TOPS of computing power. In addition, the two trims are equipped with the innovative smart space system, SS Pro and SS Max, featuring a first-row four-screen interactive system and a 5-screen 3-dimensional interactive system, respectively. These packages bring a new level of driving and entertainment experience to smart electric vehicles. We are pleased that Li L8's numerous class-leading features have delighted its first batch of users, and we believe that their satisfaction for the vehicle has broadly exceeded their expectations. We are confident that the Li L8 will stand among the finest option for 6-seaters priced over 300,000 RMB, and together with Li L9, the sales champion of full-size SUVs in China, and the Li L7, which we believe will be a top choice among 5-seat SUVs priced over RMB 300,000. We expect to captivate a broader range of family users with differentiated needs and gain a larger market share in the RMB 300,000 to RMB 500,000 price segment. We are encouraged by Li L9's continued strong sales performance and the solid demand for Li L8. But considering the ongoing supply chain uncertainty, we expected fourth quarter deliveries to be in the range of 45,000 to 48,000 vehicles. We will continue to collaborate closely with our supply chain partners to react quickly to changes and to mitigate potential risks. During the third quarter, we continued to demonstrate our strong commitment to vehicle safety. According to the vehicle safety evaluation results released on November 4th by the China Insurance Automotive Safety Index, or CIASI, Li L9 obtained the G rating, the highest safety rating, in 3 out of 4 evaluation categories: occupant safety, pedestrian safety, and assistance safety. In the category of crashworthiness and repair economy, Li L9 received an M rating, one of the top results received by premium vehicles tested by CIASI since 2017. In addition, it was the first domestic full-size SUV tested for 25% frontal offset impact on both the driver and passenger sides, and achieved the G rating for both tests. Thanks to its ultra-high strength body structure, Li L9 also demonstrated class-leading performance with the ability to withstand a peak force of 116,475 newtons in the roof strength test. Its roof can withstand a weight of 11.8 tons on the side, effectively preventing cabin deformation and safeguard a relatively large headspace for drivers and passengers to survive in case of accidents. We continually improved our vehicles' performance and features through OTA after their delivery. In early November, we released our OTA 4.1 upgrade for Li L9, further enhancing user experience with our upgraded Li AD autonomous driving system and smart in-car voice assistant Li Xiang Tongxue, as well as improved smart space interactions and entertainment experiences. In particular, the vehicle's three 15.7-inch 3K automotive-grade OLED screens can now project the same events and all game from the three different camera angles, transforming Li L9 into a great sports lounge for families and friends to watch games, such as the ongoing FIFA World Cup. To create successful products, we have two core goals. Firstly, for consumers, we choose to exceed their needs rather than merely meeting them. Secondly, as a company, we aim to achieve healthy gross margin and self-sustaining cash flow, which will allow us to continually invest in our dual growth engine of R&D and business capabilities. Especially, our R&D efforts will be directed more comprehensively across products, platforms, and systems, with the long-term goal of growing into a world-class technology company. Our business capability include commercial, supply, and organization capabilities. With continued investment in R&D and business capability, supported by our healthy growth margin, we will continue to pursue product and commercial success and foster a healthy long-term development model. This flywheel has been the strategic focus since our founding, and we believe will remain our strategy going forward. By understanding this business model, you will understand Li Auto more. Our supply chain remains one of the most significant variables with respect to our deliveries. We are accelerating supply chain deployment and optimization to build our resilience for fluctuations and support our rapid growth sales. Importantly, we are committed to extending our in-house development and manufacturing capability vertically along our supply chain. Through our forthcoming self-owned manufacturing base and the majority-owned JVs, we expect to be able to self-produce both range extenders and the 5-in-1 electric drive units that can support our EREV delivery targets. On the BEV side, we have commenced construction of a semiconductor manufacturing base in the high-tech zone of Suzhou, Jiangsu province in the third quarter. It will focus on R&D and production of automotive-grade power module based on the third-generation semiconductor material, silicon carbide. The power module is a core component of our self-developed 8-volt electric drive system. Alongside our dedicated investment in supply chain, we continue to expand our direct sales and servicing network and increase our brand awareness with upgraded brand image to fuel our business expansion. As of November 30th, 2022, we had 276 retail stores covering 119 cities, as well as 317 servicing centers and Li Auto authorized body and paint shops operating in 226 cities. During the third quarter, we also started to open retail stores in places other than shopping malls, such as automotive theme parks, to diversify our locations and reach more varied target users. The retail stores we opened at Hangzhou T-Car Auto Theme Park in September is a good example. Featuring our new design language and warm colors, it creates a welcoming interactive space for visitors. It also enjoys strong foot traffic due to its excellent location and word-of-mouth publicity. In addition, this store also offers customers a comprehensive and convenient experience with combined showroom and delivery center functions. The expansion and upgrade of our direct sales and servicing network have boosted both our brand recognition and our ability to fulfill user demand for our compelling products, which we are confident will drive meaningful sales growth going forward. We will continue to innovate new retail formats, finding new ways to attract more users while providing them with better services and experiences. Moving to R&D, we believe R&D capability lies at the core of product competitiveness as we scale our company from 1 to 10. Therefore, we insist on full stack self-development of core technologies such as electric drive, intelligent space, and autonomous driving system. We have spared no effort in solidifying our leadership in the EREV space with continued investment in our new generation range extension system. In addition, we are actively self-developing the key building blocks of our 8-volt HPC BEV platform, including the power chip, power module, electronic control unit, electric motor, and transmission system, aiming to be one of the first automakers to roll out HPC BEV vehicles. We are also proud to lead the industry in smart space R&D. For example, we self-developed our smart space Li AI system powered by MimoNet, a 6-zone human voice enhanced network, and MVSNet, a multi-view vision fusion network. Li AI can help create accurate sound perception in a complex acoustic environment and identify complicated gestures, enabling an unparalleled in-car entertainment and interactive experience. With respect to autonomous driving, as of November 30th, more than 170,000 family users have enjoyed our highway NOA feature. We have further enhanced our vehicle's ability to perceive dynamic obstacles and static road structures in a complex environment, as well as their ability to forecast traffic participants' action. We were the first in the industry to extend the concept of 3D hypothesis 2D verification to multi-mode sensor, and the Li L9 was the first to realize highway NOA based on an NVIDIA Orin SoC chipset. Meanwhile, we have partnered with Tsinghua University and MIT to complete the world first public project to construct high-precision maps in real time. Intelligent manufacturing is another core competence for any successful automaker, and another area in which we excel. First, we have industry-leading manufacturing equipment. Our fully self-developed manufacturing management software, LiMOS, can greatly improve production efficiency and quality with precision control during the entire automotive manufacturing process. This system will be implemented in all our future factories, shortening new factories' deployment cycle by more than 3 months. Our R&D efforts are not limited to building a great car, but also how to make it. We use vision sensors and algorithms to precisely control the workflow of hardware equipment in order to realize flexible production and intelligent inspection. As we strive to enhance our R&D and manufacturing capabilities, we also aspired to make a positive environmental and social impact through our sound governance structure and the dedication to sustainable development. In September 2022, we received an MSCI ESG rating of AA for the second year in a row, maintaining our leadership position in the automotive industry in terms of ESG performance. Moreover, following the earthquake in Luding County, Sichuan Province, on September 5th, we made a donation to help the affected people and to support disaster relief efforts. We hope to play our part as a corporate citizen and a member of the community by helping people in need. We look forward to sharing more of our ESG endeavors in our next ESG report, which we expect in the first half of next year. In addition, we are pleased to be included as a constituent stock in the Hang Seng China Enterprise Index, effective December 5th. This is a strong recognition of our underlying strengths and investment value. Lastly, as you may have seen from today's press release, from January 1st, 2023, I will no longer serve as the company's president. I will spend more time to support the company's new round of organizational upgrades to prepare for its future. In the future, our CEO, Li Xiang, will take over the responsibility of sales and services. Our newly appointed president, Mr. Ma Donghui, will be responsible for the overall closed-loop management from product R&D to procurement and supply, production and manufacturing and quality. Xie Yan, our new CTO, will lead the company's R&D team to explore the most advanced underlying technologies in the smart electric vehicle industry. I would like to thank our investors for the support and trust they have placed in Li Auto and myself. I firmly believe that Li Auto will continue to achieve great results under the leadership of the new management team and continue to lead the smart new energy vehicle industry in China. With that, I will turn the call over to our CFO, Johnny, for a closer look of our financial performance. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kevin. Hello, everyone. I will now go over some of our financial results for the third quarter of 2022. To be mindful of the length of this call, I will address financial highlights here and encourage you to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Total revenues in the third quarter of 2022 were RMB 9.34 billion, or $1.31 billion, representing an increase of 20.2% from RMB 7.78 billion in the third quarter of 2021. This included RMB 9.05 billion, or $1.27 billion of vehicle sales in the third quarter of 2022, up 22.5% year-over-year and 6.6% quarter-over-quarter. This increase was mainly due to our delivery of Li L9 starting in late August, which raised our average selling price in the third quarter of 2022. Revenues from other sales and services were RMB 296.4 million, or $41.7 million in the third quarter of 2022, representing a decrease of 23.9% from the same period last year, and an increase of 19% from the second quarter of this year. The year-over-year decrease was attributable to the sales of automotive regulatory credits in the third quarter of 2021, which didn't recur in the third quarter of 2022. The quarter-over-quarter increase in revenue from other sales and services was mainly due to the increased sales of accessories and services in line with higher accumulated vehicle sales. Cost of sales in the third quarter of 2022 was RMB 8.16 billion, or $1.15 billion, representing an increase of 36.8% year-over-year and an increase of 19.1% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in cost of sales was mainly driven by higher average cost of sales due to our delivery of Li L9 starting in late August, and a provision related to Li ONE as we lower its order forecast considering the stronger than expected market demands for Li L9 and our accelerated launch of Li L8. The provision in the amount of RMB 802.8 million or $112.9 million was made based on our updated order forecast for Li One after the launch of Li L9 and Li L8. Gross profit in the third quarter of 2022 was RMB 1.18 billion or $166.2 million, decreasing 34.8% year-over-year and 37.1% quarter-over-quarter. Vehicle margin in the third quarter of 2022 was 12%, compared with 21.1% in the third quarter of 2021 and 21.2% in the second quarter of this year, mostly due to the provision related to Li One, as just mentioned. Excluding this impact, the vehicle margin was 20.8% in the third quarter of 2022. Going forward with our production ramp up and responsible cost management, we expect to realize greater economics of scale and drive costs down further, putting us back on track to hit our profitability inflection point. Gross margin in the third quarter of 2022 was 12.7% compared to 23.3% in the third quarter of last year and 21.5% in the second quarter of this year. Operating expenses in the third quarter of 2022 were RMB 3.31 billion or $465.6 million, increasing 73.4% year-over-year and 15.9% quarter-over-quarter. R&D expenses in the third quarter of 2022 were RMB 1.8 billion or $253.6 million, up 103.1% year-over-year and 17.8% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year increase was primarily driven by increased expenses associated with future models, as well as increased employee compensation as a result of our growing number of R&D staff. Its quarter-over-quarter increase was primarily driven by increased expenses associated with future models. Selling, general and administrative expenses in the third quarter of 2022 were RMB 1.51 billion or $211.9 million, up 47.6% year-over-year and 13.8% quarter-over-quarter. The year-over-year increase was primarily driven by increased employee compensation as a result of the growth in our staff headcount, as well as increased rental expenses associated with the expansion of the company's sales network. Its quarter-over-quarter increase was primarily driven by increased marketing and promotion activities and increased employee compensation as a result of the growth in our staff headcount. Loss from operations in the third quarter of 2022 was RMB 2.13 billion or $299.4 million, compared a loss of RMB 97.8 million in the same period last year and a loss of RMB 976.5 million in the second quarter of this year. Net loss was RMB 1.65 billion or $231.3 million in the third quarter of 2022, compared with RMB 21.5 million in the third quarter of last year, and RMB 641 million in the second quarter of 2022. Now turning to our balance sheet and cash flow. Our cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, time deposits, short-term investments, long-term time deposits, and long-term financial instruments that were included in long-term investments totaled RMB 55.83 billion, or $7.85 billion as of September 30, 2022. Net cash used in operating activities in the third quarter of 2022 was RMB 508.3 million, or $71.5 million. The change in net cash used in operating activities over both the third quarter of last year and the second quarter of this year was mainly due to the increase in payment related to inventory purchase, partially offset by the increase in cash received from the customer. Free cash flow was negative RMB 1.96 billion, or negative $275.3 million in the third quarter of 2022. And now for our business outlook. For the fourth quarter of 2022, the company expects the deliveries to be between 45,000 and 48,000 vehicles, representing an increase of 27.8% to 36.3% from the fourth quarter of last year. The company also expects fourth quarter total revenues to be between RMB 16.51 billion and RMB 17.61 billion, or $2.32 billion and $2.47 billion, representing an increase of 55.4% to 65.6% from the fourth quarter of last year. This business outlook reflects the company's current and preliminary view on the business situation and the market condition, which is subject to change. Going forward, we believe our nimble and collaborative corporate culture, execution discipline, and strong balance sheet will allow us to face challenging markets head-on and continue to deploy capital and resources efficiently to focus on our products and innovation initiatives and drive our long-term growth. I will now turn the call over to the operator and to start the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question via the phones, you will need to press the star key followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. And if you have additional questions, you can re-enter the queue. Please ask your question in Chinese first, then follow with the English translation. And our first question will come from Tim Hsiao with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
管理层你好，非常感谢接受我的提问呢，也恭喜贵司这个新的车型 L928 持续销售创新高。那我这边2个问题，第一个问题是有关于我们新车型这块的一些稳态的销量，就说我们怎么就展望明年该怎么去预期就是现在 L8、L9 以及 L7 就整个 L 增程式这个车型的一个矩阵呢，明年稳态的一个月销量，那是否还是维持之前针对增程式的一些车型预期，比如说月交付总量25000到3万的一个目标？那另外，因为考虑到过去2个月疫情对于整体新增订单好像影响还是比较大，就像刚才亚楠总也有提到，那叠加我们现在年底加速交付，那目前贵司在手订单的一些存量是否足以支撑 明年新车交付在一季度的时候保持一个比较好的增长势头，还是可能进入到明年年初的时候会有一个比较明显的调整。So my first question is about vehicle sales. So how should we think about the stable monthly run rate of the sales of L7, 8, 9 in aggregates next year? Could the sales of the whole L family models stay at around like 25 to 30,000 level on a monthly basis as previously expected? And in the meantime, considering the declining store traffic in October and November due to the COVID, does Li Auto's order backlog so far remain strong and adequate enough to bolster the delivery momentum into first quarter 2023? 所以这是我第一个问题。
Yeah. Tim, you want me to answer your first question first, right? Okay. About the outlook of L9, L8, and L7. So we can only make judgment based on the competitiveness of this product, and also outlook based on the market size of each of these products segments. So our outlook is that for L9, the stabilized monthly sales should be around 8,000 to 11,000. That's our estimation. And for L8 will be 10,000 to 15,000. Yeah, 14,000. And L7 now it's quite early to do estimation. Yeah. So basically for the Q1 outlook, we believe the beginning of the Q1 our backlog will continue to drive strong delivery performance. And of course, after Chinese New Year, we need to bring more order in. We have strong confidence that in Q1 we'll continue to beat the overall PV market performance. But Tim, as you mentioned, that there are some factors that beyond our control, like COVID. Yeah, but we believe we'll beat the overall PV market performance.
Thank you. 谢谢亚楠总。那我第二个问题是有关于这个纯电车型是不是也能够请管理层稍微更新一下明年纯电车型开发和上市的进展这个理想汽车是否还是维持我们之前这个原先的计划，在明年2023年年内上市2个纯电车型。So my second question is about the battery EV, the pure EV. What's the current update on Li Auto's BEV pipeline? Where the company following its original plan to launch 2 BEV models next year within 2023. 谢谢。
好，明年的话我们会发布自己的，然后第一款的，然后纯电车型。对，那这是一个确定性的。所以呢，对于我们而言，明年最重要的，然后一个是 L7 的正式交付，然后一个是第一款纯电车型的，然后这个发布和交付。
So we're pretty certain that next year we'll be releasing our first electric vehicle. And so the two big events for next year, one is the release of the first electric vehicle, and the other one is the delivery of L7.
好的，谢谢李想总。Thank you very much for the update.
Our next question will come from Olivia Zhu with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
管理层好，首先恭喜公司非常好的11月份交付和四季度的指引。然后我这边主要2个问题。那第一个呢，就是说现在新能源汽车价格的竞争还是比较激烈的，尤其特斯拉最近也有多次调价。那想请问一下，理想这边的价格应对战略如何？然后明年公司是否预期整个市场会有更加激烈的价格战？然后第二个问题呢是关于供应链稳定方面的。刚刚亚楠总也提到了供应链的不确定性，那想请问一下，现在供应链主要的瓶颈在哪个环节？然后随着国内疫情防控政策的调整，公司是否预期这个对理想汽车未来几个月的生产有相对应的影响？Now let me translate my 2 questions. The first question is about the pricing and competition. Recently, Tesla has announced a meaningful pricing cut in Chinese market. What is Li Auto's response to that? And how should we examine such pricing competition next year? is it expected to be more severe? The second question is on the supply chain management. As Kevin mentioned in the briefing, there exists supply chain uncertainties. Could you please clarify what's the key bottleneck for now? And as the COVID-related policies change a lot recently, what is the expected impact on the autos production in the next several months? Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Yeah, let me take your question. Your first question about the price cut from Tesla side. Actually, we see a little impact on our order flow, because our product right now, L9 and the L8 is the price segment is higher than Tesla's main selling model. Yeah, and we would expect the same kind of situation in next year. So yeah, we still have a strong confidence that in this industry turmoil will continue to lead. Yeah. For your second question about the supply chain, yeah, of course, we are glad to see the new COVID policy that ultimately with the pandemic will resolve. Actually, the supply chain will back to normal. But as we should all know that for the next 2-3 months, based on the trend we see in other foreign countries, yeah, once the policy change, we may see here and there the manpower shortages. Yeah, right now we already see some of these kind of manpower shortages impact our production, especially in our suppliers side. Yeah, so we are working closely with our supply chain partners, try to mitigate all these risks, and we even start to prepare some of the workforce by ourselves. Whenever there is a shortage, we'll send the workforce to help our supply partners. Yeah.
Got it. That's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Ming Hassan Lee with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
谢谢管理层啊，我是Ming。那我的第一个问题是关于这个我们这次的这个公告也提到会自建这个半导体就是碳化硅的这个产能。那想了解一下，因为包括我们的同行有些同行是选择这个自建电子产能，那有些同行是选择要自己做这个芯片或者是设计 IC。那因为我看到我们这个公告里面有提到说，未来还是为了这个800这个超高快充，所以说我们要做这个碳化硅。但是想了解一下这个管理层最后决定这个 component 是自制，最主要原因是觉得说将来的这个供需会非常不平衡，还是说它的这个产品的这个壁垒比较高，然后我们有信心有把握跟三安的这个合作能够做出一个比较高质量的碳化硅，然后导入在我们这个全面车，然后有一个比较好的一个充电上。这是我第一个问题。My first question is regarding your decision to make the silicon carbide by yourself, and compared to your peers, some choose to build the internal capacity for battery, some decide to design chips by themselves. But what is the decision? Why is the decision is made for this capacity build? Thank you.
Thank you, Ming. This is Kevin. Let me take this question. Actually, just to clarify, we are not in Suzhou, not manufacturing the silicon carbide chip set. Yeah, actually, we're making the power drive module with the chipset. So why we choose to design our own power module is because the power module is closely integrated into our 5-in-1 electric motors and also 3-in-1 electric motors. So therefore, the thermal solution and the size of this module are very important for our competitiveness and energy efficiency. That's why we choose to build this module by ourselves, design and build these modules by ourselves. Yeah, just to clarify.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, and my second question, the new energy vehicle policy will change in Shanghai in 2023. So could you remind us what is the current contribution from Shanghai area, and how do you see the impact after the the policy change? Besides that, will you speed up your battery EV launch in order to make the potential order loss after the policy change？ 副重要的这个提问就是关于这个上海立牌政策的这个明年会有改变。那想了解一下现在的话，上海大概占我们的这个订单大概多少？那我们预计这个policy change对我们的订单会有怎么样的影响？那我们是不是也是要加速，会尽快上我们的这个纯电车去来这个弥补我们这个就是生成在这个上海地区的一个销量可能会有一些影响？谢谢。
Thank you. So Shanghai accounts for 6 to 5% of our sales volume. Yeah. So of course the policy change, of course, will have some impact on our sales in Shanghai. But actually, as we should all know, most of the Li Auto customer are not buying a new car. They are kind of upgrading their car. So in theory, they already have the car plate. So therefore, we are actively working with our Shanghai team to build a new sales strategy for next year. Yeah, to mitigate the impact of this policy change. But again, overall, Shanghai is only like 6% of our sales total volume. Yeah. And about the BEV, actually, just now, Li Xiang already disclosed that next year we're going to have a launch of our first BEV car. Yeah.
谢谢Kevin总，管理层。
As a reminder, please first ask your question in Chinese and then translate into English. Our next question will come from Zhu Yingbo with CITCS. Please go ahead.
好，感谢管理层。我有2个问题，第一个呢是关于理想ONE的拨备减值对于成本端的大概接近8个亿的一个影响，想问一下这部分计提是基于一个什么样的原则？对一个多大规模的这个ONE进行了计提，后续生产出来的ONE还有没有潜在的成本？那第2个问题呢，我一并提问，就是我们最近看到理想提到的关于矩阵型的组织很有前瞻性，能不能讲更多？My first question is about Li ONE has caused some cost about 800 million cost for 800 million cost. So what is the principle for this cost, and how can we expect for the future potential cost of produced ONE? And my second question is about metric organization. Could you please talk more about that? Thank you.
I will take your provision question. This is Johnny. And for this provision, it's all related to the raw materials, which means the parts already in our inventory or the purchase commitment we made to our suppliers. For those inventory and parts commitment, we don't plan to make it into vehicles in the future. So the provision was based on the lower of cost and the net realizable value based on our estimate and negotiation with the vendors. So it's an estimate. So when I finally realized in the next 2 quarters, there will be some minor adjustment to the final amount. Comparing with quarterly gross margin, it's not very significant. Yeah. Second question, I think Li Xiang will take.
我来回答第2个问题。对，那我觉得我们理想汽车，然后从成立之初，然后就相信自己的一个梦想是成为一家然后万亿收入规模的企业。对，那其实我们明年然后就会迈入到1000亿收入的规模的这样的一个门槛里去。对，那我们自己其实从我自己个人和管理团队而言，然后是没有自己从零开始打造过一个1000亿收入规模的企业的。那虽然这家企业里也有很多其实从其他的1000亿收入规模企业然后这个工作过的然后同事和高管加入， 但是呢，大部分人然后所在的企业其实都是要么有国外的总部，要么在很多年前，然后有一帮人来构建了然后这种千亿收入规模的系统和组织能力。对，那所以呢，这对我们而言其实是一个非常大的挑战，要么没有见过，对，然后要么用过，但是呢并不是自己建的。所以呢，我们很早就认识到这样的一个状况，所以从2019年开始，我们就花大量的时间和投入去认真的研究，然后全球顶尖的跟我们相似的，然后这种软硬件结合的，然后达到然后人民币然后万亿级别收入企业的他们的管理的方式，以及这些企业在不同的阶段不同的规模下所做出的组织升级的具体的选择方法和经验。对，那我们发现然后类似的企业然后都会在整个的收入规模达到100亿阶段的时候普遍然后升级到矩阵型组织的管理方式。那理想汽车然后从0到1的阶段，一个关键的特点是速度是效率，因为这是从0到1的一个必要条件。那我们自己认为，对于这样的一个长链条高复杂性的企业，当规模的扩张以后，也就是我们的从1到10的阶段，然后质量才是效率。那对内然后的管理是高质量的认知、高质量的规划、高质量的执行、高质量的复盘，然后对消费者是要有高质量的研发、高质量的制造、高质量的产品、高质量的服务。对，那我觉得这是我们然后真正认识到的。那矩阵型组织最大的特点是确保然后全流程的管理质量，然后由横向团队来规划路、修路和运营路，由纵向团队来造车、开车、运营车，所以是高质量的道路配合然后高水平的车队，从而持续把我们创造的价值源源不断的然后运输给消费者，获得商业上的成功，产生良性的循环。所以呢，其实我们自己通过一个然后较小的方式，然后在过去2年，然后通过 IPD， 然后已经来验证然后矩阵式的管理方式。其实今天大家看到的 L9、L8 和 L7 的产品研发交付的成功，很大的原因是因为我们在过去2年，然后从一个然后小的试点，然后来通过 IPD 这样的矩阵式的管理方式，然后来进行管理，其实所获得的一个成果，而不仅仅是让理想ONE的成功成为一种偶然，而是通过这样的矩阵式的然后试点，然后把 L9、L8、L7 然后的成功然后变成了必然。所以这是我们的理解。
Actually, since we founded Li Auto, we've always dreamed of becoming a $1 trillion or trillion RMB company. And as you can see, next year we're expecting to become a 100 billion RMB company already. So personally, I have never built a company from 0 to 1, $100 billion company from scratch. And most of my colleagues have not had that experience either. Most of my colleagues either they come from companies that are smaller than that, or they come from companies that became that large years ago, or they work off of a remote office that's not headquartered in China. So we have seen this issue a long time ago. So since 2019, we've been starting to study software and hardware companies that have reached the size of 1 trillion RMB very, very deeply to see how they manage their business at different stages and what we can learn from them. And one thing in common that we've seen is that they've all transformed to a matrix organization when they reach the level of about 10 billion RMB. And so for Li Auto, when we started from 0 to 1, speed was efficiency. Speed meant everything. But as time went on, we saw that in a very long value chain where quality and efficiency is very important, in our 1 to 10 stage, quality is efficiency. So a successful enterprise will need to be able to, for their internal purposes, we need to have a very robust planning, perception, execution process. And for their customers, they need very strong R&D, strong product, sales, and services. So the matrix organization was the only way to manage this entire process end to end. To make an analogy, the horizontal teams make sure that they built the roads, they maintain the roads, and the roads are good to run for vehicles. And the vertical teams are the ones that build cars, maintain the fleet, and make sure the cars run smoothly on the roads. And these cars on the well-built and maintained roads are responsible for delivering good services and products to our consumers, which forms a very healthy cycle. So we first started piloting this thought in what we call IPD, integrated product development, and the process has actually been validated by the success of L9, L8, and L7, where you might have seen the success of Li1, which in certain view could be a coincidence, but through the application of IPD, we've made that a certainty so that we can replicate the success with our current and ongoing future product development. So we are now in the process of applying our pilot process in a much larger scale to make sure that our company can continue to turn out successful products and services to our customers.
And our last question will come from Jing Chang with CICC. Please go ahead.
好的，非常感谢各位领导的分享。我这边主要跟进2个问题。首先第一个问题是关于费用端。我们看到整体3季度公司的研发和销售费用环比出现了一定的增长，同时达到了历史上比较高的水平。那怎么展望明年的可能费用支出的一个 guidance？考虑到我们明年可能会有这个全新的纯电平台的车型上市，可能有更加复杂的车型矩阵，以及可能更多的一个渠道网络。同时尤其是针对可能 R&D 这边，想再询问一下我们可能会聚焦在哪些部分做自研。So my first question is about the expense. We can see that in the third quarter, our R&D and selling expense increased to 1.8 from 1.5 billion, a historical high. So can you give us more guidance on next year's expense ratio? And considering that next year we will have a brand new BEV platform model on the market and a more complicated and a more channel networks layout. So in addition, in terms of R&D, which parts will we do mainly do our in-house research?
Hello, Changjing. This is Johnny. I will take your first question about R&D expenses. This year's R&D expenses will, just as we guided, will be around $1 billion, which is 7 billion RMB for the whole year. It's as expected. And for next year, currently we see over 10 billion to 12 billion RMB, depending on our final decision on some investment will start next year or in 2024. So it will be 10 to 12 billion RMB for next year.
好，我来回答第2个问题。然后理想汽车，然后到这个就从过去的，然后从2020年开始，然后我们的整体的研发是可以分成3个部分的。然后我觉得一个部分是产品研发，就跟所有的汽车厂商一样的。我觉得第2部分是然后技术平台的研发，然后我们的新一代的增程电动平台，我们的高压纯电平台，然后我们的智能座舱的平台，还有我们智能驾驶的这样平台。所以它带来的好处就是我们所有的车型都可以共用完全相同的平台，所以整个开发效率啊，然后成本啊，还有后边的用户体验方面可以保持非常好的一致性。对，那我觉得第3个部分是我们的底层系统的研发，然后包含操作系统，包含用于 AI 的超算平台，然后也包含我们的云服务，然后也包含我们的这个 IT 系统，然后也包含这个，然后这个对，也包含这个后续的所有的我们内部的然后计算平台的这方面的支持。对，那这一部分，然后对于我们而言是一个然后更长期的然后一个投入。对，那这个产品研发和平台的研发，然后是马东辉在负责，然后底层系统的研发，对，然后是这个谢岩在负责。那如果从整个投入方面呢，其实我们最多的投入是平台的研发，然后再往下其实是车型和底层系统的研发。那如果再往长远的看呢，然后 这个底层系统的研发可能会超过车型的研发的投入。那我们认为长期而言，最大头都在平台的研发上面。对，这对于我们的产品打造是和产品的这个体验是极为关键的。
If we look back to 2020 until now, our R&D spending mostly fall into three areas. The first area is product development, which you see similar exercises in traditional car OEMs. The second one is technological platforms, including our REV platform, our high voltage BEV platform, our smart space platform, autonomous driving platform. These are shared platforms that all of our vehicles use. The platformization allows us to maximize cost or the cost efficiency, R&D efficiency, and user experience, and make sure that they're consistent across all products of our company. The third one is new and fast-growing is our system development, which includes supercomputing, the supercomputing platform, cloud computing platform, and our IT infrastructure. These are very long-term but crucial investments for our company. And in terms of organization, product and technological platforms are run by Mr. Ma Donghui, and system development is run by our CTO, Xie Yan. And in terms of spending level, we spend the most today in technical platforms, followed by product, and then thirdly, system and infrastructure. And going forward, we expect to see more spending in system and infrastructure, which might eventually overtake technological infrastructure, because we think in the longest term, the most crucial investment or competitive advantage lies in our system and infrastructure capability.
那我这边再第二个问题，就是关于在这个产品设计和规划方面，可能我们主要针对的这个家庭用户的这个客群和细分市场，我们怎么去做到可能不同产品端更大的一个差异性和区分度？除了可能在车型方面，比方说 SUV 啊、MPV 这样的区分，或者是在这个座位，可能比方说5座、6座、7座这样的一个区分方面，可能还有哪些是我们可以展望的一个地方啊？My second question is about product design and planning, aiming at the family car market segment. How can we achieve greater product differentiation in addition to maybe different models such as SUV or MPV, and also different number of seats? What can we looking forward to get a greater differentiation?
对，我们还是保持原来的这个观点，就是价格。我们保持原来的观点，就是价格的区分和座椅的区分是对于用户群最好的一个区分的一个方式。那从实际的实践上而言，然后 L8、L9 已经开始交付 ，L7 开始揭晓定，能够看出3个用户群是有显著的差别的。对，那 L9 的用户群基本上是同价位的豪华品牌，然后以及更贵一些的豪华品牌，然后来购买 L9 这样的产品。然后 L8 然后比较好的，然后完成了对理想ONE的替代，是基本上完全相同的用户群。而 L7 则抓住了非常多的25岁到35岁的年轻的家庭用户群体。对，那我们实际在运营下来，然后由于不同的价格、不同的座椅的，然后不同的座椅的这个布局，对，那其实最后然后3个产品，然后非常有效的按照我们的计划，然后覆盖了不同的人群，然后甚至在用户的年龄层上面还给我们带来一些惊喜，我们没有想到的一些用户群，然后纳入到更年轻的一些用户群，然后纳入到我们的然后用户群体中来。
Our philosophy is the same as before. We still believe that price and seat configuration is the best way to segment the market, and this has been partly tested by the success of L9 and 8 and 7, which is soon to start delivery. In that these 3 cars actually have attracted 3 very different user groups. If you look at L9, it's pretty much attracted premium car buyers at the same price point or even higher than the current price level of L9. And L8 pretty perfectly replaced Li1 and shares a very similar customer base as Li1. And L7 has been attracting a lot of young family users aged between 25 and 35. So as you can see, pricing and seat arrangements have allowed us to very efficiently cover the market in different user groups. And there has even been some surprises in the case of L7 where we've been able to tap into new age groups that we weren't expecting before.
好的，非常感谢，我这边没有其他问题了。
As we're reaching the end of our conference call, I'd like to turn the call back over to the company for closing remarks. Ms. Janet Zhang, please go ahead.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact Li Auto's Investor Relations team. Then that's all for today. Thank you and have a good weekend.
The conference is now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation. You may now disconnect.